They've been feared, worshipped, hunted nearly to extinction, and yet they keep coming back. The wolf, Canis lupus. For thousands of years, humans have told stories about them. Big bad wolves, lone wolves, wolves at the door. But the real animal? Far stranger, far smarter, and far more complex than any fairy tale ever captured. This is what wolves are actually like. Let's start with something most people don't appreciate, just how different a wolf's world is from ours. A wolf's nose contains up to 300 million scent receptors. Humans have about 5 million. That means a wolf can smell prey from nearly 2 miles away, upwind. They can detect a carcass buried under 3 feet of snow. And here's the part that sounds almost supernatural. Wolves can smell time. They can tell from a scent trail not just who passed through, but roughly when. A fresh track smells different from an old one, and they read that like we read a clock. Their hearing is equally extraordinary. Wolves can hear sounds at frequencies up to 40 kilohertz, almost double what humans can detect. They can locate a sound source within fractions of a degree of accuracy and hear another wolf howling from up to 10 miles away across open terrain. Speaking of howling, most people think wolves howl at the moon. They don't. That's a myth. Wolves howl to communicate across vast distances, to reunite a scattered pack, to warn rivals away from their territory, and to mourn. Yes, mourn. When a wolf loses a pack member, particularly a mate or dominant individual, the remaining wolves often howl persistently, sometimes for days. Researchers believe this isn't just communication, it carries emotional weight. Wolves appear to grieve. Each wolf also has a completely unique howl, like a vocal fingerprint. Pack members can identify individuals just by their howl, and when a pack howls together, they deliberately harmonize on different notes, making the group sound larger than it actually is. It's acoustic deception, and it works. Here's something that changes how most people see wolves: the whole alpha wolf idea. It's basically wrong. The concept came from studies of wolves in captivity, wolves from different packs thrown together unnaturally. In the wild, a wolf pack is simply a family, a breeding pair, the parents, and their offspring. The alpha is just the mom and dad. The father doesn't dominate through aggression. He leads through experience, decision-making, and the trust of the group. Real wolf leadership looks less like a military hierarchy and more like a functional family. Younger wolves defer to their parents not out of fear, but out of social learning. They're still figuring things out. And when they're ready, usually around age 2, they leave the pack to find a mate and start a family of their own. Now here's where wolves become something almost miraculous, because they don't just live in ecosystems, they shape them. When wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone National Park in 1995, scientists witnessed something they called a trophic cascade. The wolves hunted elk, but more importantly, they changed where elk grazed. Elk stopped lingering near riverbanks where wolves could easily ambush them. Those riverbanks, previously overgrazed, began to recover. Willows and aspens grew back. Songbirds returned. Beavers returned, building dams that created wetlands. Fish populations recovered. The rivers themselves began to change course, stabilized by new vegetation. One predator, returning after a 70-year absence, and the entire landscape rewrote itself. Ecologists call wolves a keystone species, an animal so integral to its environment that removing it causes the whole system to collapse inward. Now let's get into behaviors most people have never heard of. Wolves play, not just as pups. Adult wolves initiate play regularly using a specific play bow posture to invite games. They've been observed playing keep away with ravens. They have favorite toys, sticks, bones they return to repeatedly. Wolves babysit. When the breeding female gives birth, other pack members, older siblings, aunts, uncles, will take turns watching and feeding the pups. Babysitting duty is taken seriously. Non-breeding wolves have been observed regurgitating food specifically to feed young they didn't parent. And wolves show loyalty to injured members. Packs have been documented slowing their entire movement pace for weeks to accommodate a wolf recovering from injury. They bring food back to wolves too weak to hunt. They wait. Today, wolves occupy a fraction of their historical range. Once found across nearly the entire northern hemisphere, from the deserts of Arabia to the Arctic tundra, they've been pushed back, hunted, poisoned, and legislated out of existence across most of their former territory. And yet, they persist. In the forests of the Great Lakes, in the northern Rockies, slowly, cautiously making their way back into states and landscapes they haven't touched in generations. The wolf doesn't ask for permission. It reads the wind, reads the land, and moves forward. Maybe that's why across every culture on Earth, the wolf keeps showing up in our stories, our symbols, our fears, and our dreams. Because somewhere deep down, we recognize something of ourselves. The pack instinct, the loyalty, the howl sent out into the dark, hoping something answers. The wolf endures, and as long as wild places exist, so will they.